Welcome to Super 66 Samurai Sunday.
And welcome to the very first installment of Will Martel's movie review. And this show is called Samurai Sunday. Why is it called Samurai Sunday, you ask? Well, back in the day, there was a TV show that aired in Chicago every Sunday where they showed kung fu movies from the 60s, 70s, and 80s called Samurai Sunday on Channel 66, as you seen in the intro. Now, I came across the intro on YouTube and I said to myself, this is what we need. We need some fun in the world today. And what better fun did I have back in the day when I was a kid was going to watch kung fu movies, okay? Now, not in any way at all was this Shakespeare, okay? If you do not watch a kung fu movie for pure entertainment, then you know you're missing out. You're really, really missing out, because these movies were fun, okay, for me. All right, all of the Bruce Lee films were Class A kung fu films. Any films that came out of the Shaw Brothers studio was Class A kung fu movies. Okay, so without further ado, I am going to roll a clip from the 1979 martial arts epic called The Struggle Through Death, starring the legendary John Liu. Roll a clip. Okay, you have just seen a clip from the legendary John Liu in the film classic, martial arts film classic called The Struggle Through Death. Now, you might not even know this movie, but only the biggest kung fu fans know about John Liu and how John Liu actually beat Chuck Norris in open competition back in the day. So, this film might lack, okay, in the dubbing, because all those movies back in, you know, those days, the 70s and 80s, were all shot silently. I will venture to think all of those films were shot silently even before the 70s and 80s. But I digress. Anyhow, what this movie lacked in trying to understand, you know, the dialogue, okay, which the dubbing wasn't that bad on this one. Okay, it wasn't as bad as most, and I've seen hundreds of like Hong Kong kung fu movies, and a lot of them, you could tell that the phrases don't quite go with the facial expressions or the feeling up until the point they fight. Okay, but I can say right now I am an authority on martial arts movies and kung fu movies. I have a wide variety of them, but I picked this one out because this one, The Struggle Through Death, was almost reminiscent of the Chinese version of The Dirty Dozen, or even Roots, because some of the torture scenes in The Struggle Through Death is reminiscent of Roots also. And I think the filmmaker had a very clear idea on like the material that he had kind of drawn from in order to make the scenes where the prisoners that are trying to escape get tortured. So, when you watch the whole film, you'll just see a lot of similarities between the brutality in Roots and this film, The Struggle Through Death. Okay, so what is my take on the movie, and how many thumbs up, okay, to use an old school phrase by Ebert and Cisco? In my opinion, I give it 4 thumbs up, and the reason I won't give it 5 thumbs up is because of the fact that the dubbing, okay, you're trying to understand the dialogue, and really the dialogue, you can kind of put certain things together story-wise, but it really doesn't explain, really the reason behind the capture and torture of these men. And then it's never really cleared up where one of the prisoners, he left his wife pregnant, so you don't know whether the wife, when they captured one of the prisoners, his wife was having a baby. So you never find out if the woman lived or died. So these are the way these films were made back in the day. So I don't fault the filmmakers for not explaining that, because really, like I said at the top of this, if you don't go watch a kung fu movie for pure entertainment, then you're kind of missing out. So I didn't look at this, back in the day, as far as story or anything like that. I was just wanting somebody to kick somebody's butt every 5 or 10 minutes, or every minute of the film. I wanted some fighting. So kind of like back in the day when Lo Wei, the legendary director of The Big Boss and The Fist of Fury, he wanted high octane action. He wanted fight sequences, and that is what the audience wanted back in the day. They didn't give a hoot about a story. They wanted fighting, and that's what we all wanted out of our old school kung fu movies. Now, becoming a filmmaker myself all of these years later, it's funny that now, you look back at these films and you go, God, the story really, really lacked. They really sucked. But like I said, you have to watch kung fu movies for the pure entertainment aspect of it. Okay? High kicks, the classic student getting beat up and bullied, and then all of a sudden, okay, the teacher comes along and tells the student, okay, I will teach you kung fu, after probably the student pursued the teacher so much that he just got sick and tired and said, okay, I'm going to teach you. So that's the way those films were. But my ultimate take on The Struggle Through Death, 4 thumbs up. 4 thumbs up on high octane action. Okay, and I would suggest that anybody watches The Struggle to Death. If you're a big Kung Fu fan, this movie is for you. Okay, that will do it for my review on The Struggle Through Death. Okay, so next time I will be reviewing oh man, I don't believe I'll be even saying this. I will be reviewing the movie with Bruce Lee. Okay, one of the Bruce Lee imitators from the 1970s, post Bruce Lee era. A movie that he had done, I believe it was in probably 1975 or 76, called, get this, Enter the Game of Death. Okay, but that's going to be next time. Okay, so this is Will Martel from Samurai Sunday saying so long, and remember, keep hitting and keep on kicking. See you soon.